My daughter used my credit card for her luxury life, so I canceled it on her wedding day. I still remember the exact moment I realized my own daughter saw me as nothing more than a credit card. It happened on a quiet Tuesday morning while I was drinking coffee in my small kitchen. The sunlight was coming through the window, warming the old wooden table my husband and I had bought nearly 30 years ago. Back then, life had felt simple. My husband David was alive. Our daughter Melissa was still a little girl who ran into my arms every time I came home from work. But that morning, the illusion of that family was about to shatter. My phone buzzed with a notification from the bank. Normally, I ignored them. I trusted Melissa. She had been using my credit card for years. At first, it was small things: groceries while she was in college, gas for her car, books for school. I had given her the card because I wanted to help her succeed, because that's what mothers do. We help our children until they can stand on their own feet. But as the years passed, the purchases grew larger. Clothes, expensive dinners, weekend trips, spa treatments, designer handbags. At first, I told myself it was temporary. Melissa was young. She was building her career. She needed support. But that morning, when I opened the banking app, my hands started trembling. There was a charge for $4,800, a luxury hotel. Another charge for $1,200, a boutique jewelry store. Then another, $3,600 at a bridal salon. I stared at the screen, trying to understand what I was seeing. Then I remembered. Melissa was getting married in 2 weeks. I had assumed her fiancé, Jason, and his family were paying for the wedding. They were wealthy. Jason worked in finance. His parents owned multiple properties. Melissa had told me not to worry about anything. "Just come and enjoy the day, Mom," she had said. But now I realized something. I wasn't just attending the wedding. I was financing it, without even knowing it. I kept scrolling through the charges: limousine service, luxury makeup artist, designer shoes, a custom veil. Each charge felt like a small knife sliding into my chest. By the time I reached the end of the list, the total amount was over $27,000. $27,000, all on my credit card. I sat there in silence. The coffee had gone cold. My hands were shaking. For a long time, I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe Melissa planned to pay it back. Maybe it was temporary. Maybe she simply forgot to tell me. So I called her. She answered on the third ring. "Hi, Mom," she said cheerfully. I tried to keep my voice calm. "Melissa, I was reviewing my credit card statement this morning." There was a pause. "Oh," she said. Just one word. "Oh." No explanation, no apology, just "oh." "I noticed some wedding purchases," I continued carefully. "Yes," she replied casually. "The wedding planner said it would be easier to put everything on one card." My stomach dropped. "One card?" I asked. "Yeah," she said. "Yours." There was no guilt in her voice, no hesitation, just complete certainty. "As soon as Jason and I combine our finances, we'll figure it out," she added quickly. Figure it out. Those 3 words echoed in my mind. Melissa was 28 years old. She had a full-time job. She lived in a luxury apartment. She drove a car I have helped her buy. And yet somehow she still believed my money existed for her convenience. "Melissa," I said slowly, "do you know how much is on the card?" "Not exactly," she admitted. "But it's fine, Mom. You always said family helps family." The way she said it felt like a rehearsed line, something she had convinced herself was true. But something inside me shifted in that moment, a quiet realization. Melissa didn't see this as generosity. She saw it as entitlement. Still, I didn't want to ruin her wedding, so I said nothing more. I told myself I would talk to her after the honeymoon. I would explain boundaries. I would help her understand responsibility. But life has a strange way of revealing the truth at the worst possible time. 3 days later, I received the wedding invitation. It arrived in the beautiful gold envelope, embossed lettering, elegant calligraphy. Inside was a thick card with the ceremony details. Melissa and Jason had chosen an expensive vineyard outside the city, the kind of place you only see in magazines. Then I noticed something strange. My name was listed as guest, not mother of the bride, just guest. Maybe it was a mistake, but when I looked at the seating chart online, my heart sank. I wasn't at the family table. I wasn't even near it. I was seated with distant coworkers of Jason's parents, strangers. Meanwhile, the front tables were filled with Jason's relatives, his friends, his business partners. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling something I had never felt before. Not anger, not sadness, something deeper, something colder, disrespect. For years, I had supported Melissa, financially, emotionally. Every time she struggled, I helped. Every time she needed something, I provided it. But now I realized something painful. To her, my role wasn't mother. It was sponsor, a walking bank account. And suddenly the credit card charges made perfect sense. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying memories in my mind. Melissa asking for money for rent. Melissa needing help with her car. Melissa charging expensive gifts for her friends. Every time I had told myself the same thing. She's my daughter. She'll appreciate it someday. But appreciation never came. Only bigger bills. The next morning, I called the credit card company. The representative was polite. "How can I help you today?" she asked. I took a deep breath. "I want to review every transaction made in the last 6 months." She read them out loud, one by one. Luxury clothing stores, restaurants, airline tickets, salon visits. By the time she finished, the total amount Melissa had charged in 6 months was over $43,000. $43,000. I felt dizzy. "Would you like to dispute any of these charges?" the representative asked. I hesitated. Melissa's wedding was in 10 days. If I disputed them now, everything would collapse. And despite everything, she was still my daughter. So I said no. But I did ask one important question. "How quickly can a card be canceled?" "It can be canceled instantly," the representative replied. Instantly. The word stayed in my mind for the rest of the day. 10 days later, the wedding arrived. The vineyard was beautiful. White flowers everywhere. Crystal glasses. String lights hanging from the trees. It looked like something out of a fairy tale. Melissa looked stunning in her designer dress. Jason wore a tailored tuxedo. The guests laughed and drank champagne. Everything seemed perfect. But inside me, something had already changed. I watched Melissa greet people, smile for photos, accept compliments. But she barely looked at me. When she did, it was only to ask one thing. "Mom, did you bring the card?" The card. Not hello, not thank you, just the card. "Yes," I said quietly. "Good," she replied. "The florist might need it for the final payment." That was the moment I knew. I wasn't part of the wedding. I was the funding source. And suddenly the decision I had been avoiding for weeks became crystal clear. The ceremony started at sunset. Melissa walked down the aisle. Guests cried. Music played softly. The vows were exchanged. Everyone applauded. They were officially married. Then the reception began. Dinner was served. Champagne flowed. The DJ started the music. And right as Melissa and Jason stepped onto the dance floor for their first dance, my phone buzzed. It was the credit card company. Another charge attempt. $12,000. From the wedding venue. My hands stopped shaking. For the first time in weeks, I felt completely calm. I answered the call. "Yes," I said quietly. "I'd like to cancel my credit card."